Stop thinking your $30 radio is just for local chatter, because you are missing out on the entire world of high-frequency signals. The Quansheng UVK5 is a legend in the ham world, but out of the box, it has a massive secret that most people never unlock. If you want to hear clear sideband audio without spending hundreds on a desktop rig, you have to be willing to get your hands dirty. Today, we are tearing this thing apart to install the hardware mod that changes everything about how this radio functions. Most people think you can just flash new software to get SSB, but that is only half the story for real performance. To do this right, you need a specific modification board, usually featuring the SI4732 chip, which handles the heavy lifting for those signals. These tiny boards cost less than a lunch at a fast food place, but the value they add to your shack is absolutely massive. Before we heat up the iron, you should grab some fine tip tweezers and a very steady light, because these parts are incredibly small. You will also need some high-quality flux and maybe a magnifying glass if your eyes are starting to get as old as mine are. Start by popping off the battery and taking a look at those two screws at the very bottom of the radio frame. Don't forget the hidden ones behind the volume knob and the channel selector, because if you pull too hard, you will snap the plastic. Once those are out, the silver backplate should slide right out, but you have to be extremely gentle with the speaker wires. There is nothing worse than finishing a perfect solder job only to realize you ripped the tiny red wire off the speaker cone. Lay the guts of the radio down on an anti-static mat, because one little spark of static electricity can turn your radio into a paperweight. The real challenge begins when you look at the main circuit board and see how tiny the components actually are. You are looking for the area near the original radio chip, where we need to tap into the data and clock lines. This is where the mod board will live, and it needs to be positioned perfectly so the case can still close properly. I recommend using a tiny bit of double-sided tape to hold the mod board in place while you prepare your wires. If the board shifts while you are soldering, you might bridge two pins and cause a short circuit when you power it on. Take your time with the soldering iron and use the smallest tip you have in your kit for this specific task. You only need a tiny amount of solder to make the connection, and if you use too much, it will glob over everything. Once the mod board is connected to the ground and power pins, you need to run the signal wires to the specific traces. These traces are thinner than a human hair, so you need to be very precise with where you place your heat. If you feel your hand shaking, just take a breath and step away for a minute, because frustration is the enemy of a good mod. After the hardware is physically inside, you have to make sure no wires are crossing over the buttons on the front. It is a tight fit in there, and if a wire is too thick, you will find that your keypad feels mushy or stops working. Once you are confident in your work, go ahead and put the screws back in, but do not tighten them all the way yet. We need to test the radio first to make sure we did not break the basic functions of the device during the surgery. If the screen lights up and you hear the normal beep, you are halfway to victory and ready for the next step. Now we have to talk about the software, because the hardware is just a hunk of metal without the right instructions. You will need a standard programming cable and a computer to flash the custom firmware that supports the SI4732 chip. There are several versions of firmware out there, like the ones from Exumer or Cecil, that are very popular right now. Each one has a slightly different menu system, but they all unlock the ability to tune into the lower bands with SSB. When you finally hit that power switch and see the new menu options, you are going to feel like a mad scientist. Tune over to the 40-meter band or the 20-meter band during the day and see what you can hear. You might need to use a simple wire antenna or a long wire thrown into a tree to get the best reception results. The internal antenna is okay for local stuff, but for true long-distance listening, you need more copper in the air. Hearing a voice from 3 states away on a $30 walkie-talkie is a feeling that never gets old for a radio nerd. This mod turns a basic tool into a wide-open window to the world of amateur radio communication. You saved hundreds of dollars and learned exactly how your gear works by doing the work with your own 2 hands. Check out this next video to see the best antennas you can build for under $10 to pair with your new modded radio.